Transformers 1 is probably the best Transformers movie that we've seen on the big screen. But before I get into how that is, please guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell at the top so you get notified of the latest and greatest videos. Transformers 1 contains everything that we could possibly want in the Transformers movie, and it serves to give the fans what we've been asking for a very, very long time. And that was a Transformers movie that took place on Cybertron without any human interactions. This movie contained a compelling storyline, great action, and amazing visuals. It had laugh-out-loud humor and was a textbook example of character development and growth. And I definitely recommend this movie for a family, because while watching this movie, it felt like I was a little kid again, and it made me a bigger fan of the franchise. Even though I've seen Megatron and Optimus Prime on the big screen before, while watching this movie, it felt like I was watching a new set of characters. It was refreshing to get to see who they were before they were these dynamic and incredible leaders. And it was amazing to see how they mix and match the lore to give the stories and the characters a new fresh set of events that led Megatron and Optimus Prime to become the bitter enemies that we know them to be. So overall, I'm gonna have to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Now I'm gonna get to the minor issues that I did have with the movie, but guys, this is the part of the video where I get into spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, please click off and come back to this video at a later time. Now there are a couple minor things that I had issue with this movie, and I'll save the biggest one for last, but the first one was the lack of Autobot cameos. Now look, for those of you guys who have seen the movie, maybe I'm tripping, but in this movie we got to see Arachnid, Dreadwing, as well as Soundwave, Shockwave, and Starscream. And even though I love seeing them on the big screen and I also enjoyed their character designs, I think my overall favorite character design of this whole movie was Arachnid. I love how they really went all out and leaned into the Insecticon look with her, making her look and feel like she's a completely different species. It was just all around cool and I loved it. But I just wish we got more Autobot cameos and also more Autobot supporting characters, because from my understanding in this movie, we only got B, Elita 1, and Optimus Prime, and that was it. Oh, and I almost forgot, Wheeljack did make a very brief appearance. But I would have loved to see more Autobot supporting characters, like Ratchet, fixing them up after they didn't win the race, and maybe giving them a pep talk, and maybe have characters like Bulkhead and the other Wreckers be friends and work down in the mine with Megatron and Optimus Prime. This would have made his betrayal at the end of the movie that much more satisfying and heart-wrenching, which leads me to my next point, and that's their backstory. Now in this movie, Orion Pax, aka Optimus Prime, and D16, aka Megatron, are Transformers that don't have the ability to transform, and because of that, they are subjugated to working in the mines mining Energon for Sentinel Prime. But the big twist in the movie is that Sentinel Prime stole all of their T-Cogs at birth because he needed a lower class group of Transformers to mine the Energon for the Quintessons. You see, the Quintessons were only able to defeat the previous Primes because Sentinel Prime, who was their trusted advisor at the time, helped lead them into a trap where he killed them and attempted to take the Matrix of Leadership from Zeta Prime. But ultimately, these events helped shape the way that Optimus Prime and Megatron deals with classism. Optimus Prime wants to unite Cybertron, and Megatron wants to completely overthrow the system. But at the core, they're just responding to Sentinel Prime's betrayal in two different ways. Optimus sees Sentinel's betrayal, but he still sees the values in the old Prime's teachings and their wisdom, while Megatron believes that Cybertron puts too much faith in the Primes and that the only way to really have true power is to take it yourself. And I feel this dynamic would have been showcased better in their old backstories, with Optimus or Orion Pax being a record keeper in the Iacon Hall of Records, and with Megatronus, aka Megatron, being a gladiator in the pits of Kaon. And most of their backstories, these were their jobs on Cybertron before they were great leaders. And in my all-time favorite one, which is Transformers Prime, I think that this would have been better adapted to the big screen. In this backstory, Cybertron was heavily plagued by classism, where Cybertronian's destiny was in the hands of the Council and the Primes, and not shaped by his or her own capabilities. Megatron, who was a gladiator in the pits of Kaon, had developed political favor, and many bots, including Orion Pax, started to look up to him, with Megatron becoming a friend and a mentor to Orion. But when it came time for Megatron to display his grief toward the Council, he began to express that he was willing to overthrow them by force. But Orion Pax had a different point of view. He moved the sparks and the minds of the Council with his words of wisdom and diplomatic solutions to Cybertron's problems. And from this, the Council thought that he was worthy enough of becoming a Prime. This angered Megatron, and he cut ties with Orion Pax and the Council and began to wage war on Cybertron. This eventually led Orion to come face to face with Primus, where he was awarded the Matrix of Leadership and became Optimus Prime. I just believe that this backstory would have worked so much better than the one that we got in Transformers 1. It would have showed them as being two different bots who were able to come together because they were from different sides of the tracks, but also having this be the very reason why they became bitter enemies. Now guys, I don't want you to think that I'm hating, because I love the story that we got in Transformers 1. It was amazing. I just think that this one would have worked a little bit better. That's all I'm saying. Now on to my biggest grievance, and that is the voice acting. Once again, I'm not hating. I love the voice acting we got. Chris Hemsworth did an amazing job as Optimus Prime, and Brian Henry did a dope job as Megatron. But the thing about it is, when you have characters this iconic, this big, it's hard to see them or hear them in any other voice than what we've been used to. Because I'm sorry, Peter Cullen will always be Optimus Prime, and Megatron will always be Frank Welker. It's just like Mark Hamill's Joker or Kevin Conroy's Batman. When you hear another person doing their voice, you almost think that, okay, they're trying to go in here and do an impression of the original voice actor. Hearing Chris Hemsworth's voice come out of Optimus Prime's body, that's exactly what I thought. I thought this was Chris Hemsworth trying to sound like Peter Cullen. And once again, the voice acting was amazing, but it just felt like a piece was missing. Because realistically, with both of them getting up in age, I know they're trying to pass the torch along with these two characters, but with that happening, we kind of want them to do the character voices even more. Knowing that this can't go on forever, me and a lot of the other fans would agree that we want as many projects from you guys as we can possibly get. Because when that day comes when these two incredible voice icons can no longer do these characters, it's going to be a culture shock for the entire Transformers universe as a whole. Just like the loss of Kevin Conroy was a shock for the DC universe. But if you go in here and you don't compare past projects, the voice acting comes out great. Even though I was missing the original voice cast, I do appreciate the new voices that we got. And I think an underrated star that we got in this film was Lawrence Fishburne as Alpha Triumph. Because other than Optimus and Megatron, of course, he was my favorite on-screen Cybertronian. And a lot of that had to do with Lawrence Fishburne's performance. He had a commanding and powerful presence, but was also gentle and kind. This, along with his look and his transformation, really helped steal the show. So overall, what I'm saying is I love the voice acting. But that tiny spark that only the original cast of Transformers can give the fans was missing in this movie. But overall, it was a 10 out of 10. But guys, it's about that time. I gotta get up out of here. And once again, if you stuck with me this long, I appreciate you so much. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Did you guys love the movie or did you hate it? And do you want to see more movies like this in the future, or do you want more human interaction in the Transformers universe? Until next time, my fellow Cybertronians, peace.